News on blockades. Is it true that whitelists for home internet are already being tested? And is it true that next year we'll be forced to leave YouTube in such a hurry? The boom of artificial intelligence has caused a new shortage, and you will never guess what exactly is missing this time. And now I'll tell you about the graphics of the future. Nvidia suddenly has a new competitor. Yes, this is Ostrovskaya speaking. Yes, I'm sick, but I'll try not to whine too much in your ears. These are the news so urgently. We're starting right now. So, experts believe that internet via VPN has already become the default mode for the overwhelming majority of Russians. And it's starting to produce amusing results. For example, as you know, Russian websites have been banned from operating through this VPN. And in the news, they're writing that marketplace sales have dropped so sharply that they've given up on the threat of being removed from whitelists and reopened free access again. And this is actually a very good sign. The fact that people are not willing to give up normal internet is a serious red line for the authorities.
Randy, where are you heading now?
We're going west.
They say there's internet somewhere far away. You don't even know if there's internet there. But here it definitely isn't.
Because the plan seemed to be to complicate people's lives so that most would switch to domestic services. And this would have given them free rein to apply punitive measures against the minority. Now it turns out that no, we'll have to deal with the majority. And that's a completely different scenario. So ahead of us lie two turning points in tightening blockades. And no, introducing whitelists for home internet is not such a point. Yes, the news has started pushing the story that during the May holidays, at least several Moscow region providers began testing whitelists on fiber optics and Wi-Fi. And by May 9th, it will get even worse. But there's no confirmation that this is even somewhat widespread practice. And as for the option of fully implementing the Cheburek mode in Russia, it is almost unbelievable. Not because the authorities are so kind, but because they have already found a replacement for this option in the form of charging for foreign traffic. First, they will apply it to mobile traffic, see how it goes, and then move it to home internet. Unlikely this year, but quite possible next year, which will become the first turning point. Such a measure will effectively cut off YouTube and other heavy services, making them too expensive for most users. The only question is the price. In the news, they're pushing the figure of $60 per gigabyte. That is almost 5,000 rubles, which is very hard to believe. This figure was stated in an interview by a former presidential advisor, pulled literally out of thin air. In any case, the measure will be extremely effective, even with much more moderate pricing. And finally, there is the second turning point. It is the ban on advertising in banned social networks, which will come into force at the beginning of next year. And here, things get much more interesting. Here, the answer will have to be given not to the people, but to the business. The authorities expect that advertisers, who currently ignore Russian resources because the audience and statistics there are a complete mess, will be forced to leave YouTube as well. And then channels like ours will have to either close their YouTube channel or pull the audience wherever the advertisers go because we live off advertising. Or find alternative income sources, such as those same donations, or register outside of Russia and continue working from there. And yes, if advertisers move to VK and Rutube, I think many teams will have to close their YouTube channels and try to pull at least part of the audience to Russian platforms. In the end, YouTube users on January 1st of next year risk finding under the tree a very unpleasant gift in the form of departed Russian channels. We don't plan to do that ourselves, we'll act according to the situation and solve the problem. I hope we'll manage to pull it off. By the way, here's a question for you. If we leave YouTube, will you follow us? Or do we stay here until victory? Open the donations. Write in the comments too. Who knows? Maybe I'm missing something. Well then, let's continue getting acquainted with platforms that help gamers not worry. And suddenly we have a newcomer, online marketplace, Tsukimi Market. Let's see what interesting things are here. Well, first of all, of course, topping up your Steam wallet with a low commission. You can enter directly from the banner on the main page. And you can also buy, for example, currency in Roblox. And of course, all transactions here are safe under the marketplace's guarantee. That is, the seller will receive your money only after confirming that the purchase went smoothly. The interface is simple and clear. It will be very hard to get lost here. and ratings and reviews help you find offers that are more beneficial for you faster. Tsukimi Market is just opening, so it is inviting sellers as well. They are promised low commissions, and for buyers, there's a special promotion running here. Steam top-up with no commission using the promo code so urgently. So if you're looking for a cheaper way to stock up on games, check this out first. And who knows, maybe your search will end here. All links are already waiting for you in the description of this video. The artificial intelligence boom has triggered a new shortage. No, don't be scared, it won't affect you at all. You won't believe it. It's caused the shortage of bodyguards, not the ones who sit in supermarkets. Real tough bodyguards. So where did it all start? It all started with the fact that the company Oracle fired 30,000 people who rebelled. There were rallies, protests, and threats of revenge against former bosses. The company had to spend more money on protecting the management than on severance pay for those very 30,000 people. And then came the attack on Sam Altman's house. And here, the rich realize something. The more artificial intelligence develops, the more jobs it will take from people. And the more dangerous their lives will become.
You damn well know the law. We're out of work because of these scumbags.
We're out of work because of these scumbags.
If before they walked without protection or with just one bodyguard driver, now they're increasingly appearing surrounded by a full escort team that even a presidential motorcade might envy. But there are many tech company leaders in the world and few bodyguards, so the shortage arose. According to former FBI agent James Hamilton, demand for his services grew tenfold over 2 years. If before protection was relied upon by 13% of top executives of major companies, now it's already a third. And the cost of protection is rising quickly. Even a very budget team of 2 or 3 people costs $500,000 a year. Just as an example, protecting Mark Zuckerberg and his family costs $22 million. Google spent over $8 million on protecting Sundar Pichai. Nvidia increased spending on protecting Jensen Huang from $700,000 to $3.5 million, which by today's standards is still quite budget-friendly. During his last visit to New York, Huang was accompanied by only 5 bodyguards. Doesn't that seem too little, don't you think? We are really worried about his health. Let him take a page from the Oracle CEO's book. He even travels on a yacht escorted by 3 patrol boats.
Who knows? Someone might decide to board him or find a submarine and try to fire a torpedo at the hull. Agreed. Anything can happen.
If you haven't forgotten our breakdown of the DLSS 5 technology announcement, the gaming industry has finally set its course on neural rendering. That is, artificial intelligence will draw the image over the game frame. So far, it's not great. And when Nvidia tried to render modern games into photorealism, many didn't like the final result. And now DLSS 5 has a competitor. The creators of Roblox announced the Roblox reality technology. The graphics in their game are terrible, like Minecraft's. But the studio thought, what if we improve it with neural networks? And furthermore, the studio head directly stated that their goal is to enter the engine market and give indie developers with a team of 3 people the ability to create photorealistic games in a week. Literally on the fly. So they tried it out, and the first result was so-so, because the software is raw and GPU power isn't enough yet. You can check it out yourself. On the top left screen are the original frames, on the bottom left, the processed ones. And in the bottom right corner is the conceptual vision of what developers ultimately aim for. Right now, even the crappy version requires a ton of resources and runs on professional accelerators. Not to mention that it looks worse than regular rendering. And yet, the studio promises to make the first version of the technology available by the end of this year. At most, early next year. It is not yet clear how it will look and how much power it will require. Anyway, that doesn't matter. Right now, all this is being done not for players, but for developers. The company is simply trying to stake its claim in a promising market. Right now, everyone is on equal footing. And so even newcomers have a chance to break ahead, surpassing giants like Nvidia and Epic Games. Past achievements matter little, but the speed of experimentation and the success of the chosen architecture can become decisive. And maybe in 10 years, everyone will forget about your Unreal Engine and start making games on the Roblox engine. Here comes May.
Noses are running.
The sun delights with summer warmth.
Nature is waking up.
blossoming with new colors. There's a feeling of lightness and boundless optimism in the air. But, of course, our editor Pasha decided that something had to be done about this mess. He has long been writing in his Telegram channel that the 21st century will become humanity's return to the Dark Middle Ages. And he just published a post saying that the first signs of this can already be seen now in our time. So it's better not to go there and not to read. Better come to me. I have a spring mood, everything is in perfect order there. And by the way, 30,000 subscribers, a milestone, come congratulate. And also photos, exclusive videos, behind the scenes details from shoots and my trips. In short, this is my personal diary. You won't stay there without content. So welcome. And yes, in the last few days I will whine about how bad it is to be sick. So don't get sick. Wear a hat, heal up right away, and so on and so on. And for those with allergies, oh, how I sympathize with you. And right now, a block of Russian games. The only news you need. Cyborg Descent has been released, a major expansion to the popular domestic bitmap game. 3 more circles of hell, more than a dozen new enemies, 3 bosses, 2 difficulty levels for those who lacked pain, new traps, even more ways to beat the shiny metallic ass of enemies. And the protagonist's mustache is now so tough that even Burt Reynolds, upon seeing it, cried out of offense. Link at the bottom. And by the way, I'm giving away 5 keys to Cyborg Descent in my Telegram. So do drop on May 1st, the most realistic walking simulator from a New Year's corporate party on Sadovo Koltso to native Yuzhnoye Butovo after downing a bottle and a half of strong liquor was released. Kelobok Siknos Simulator.
The developers took pity on people with weak vestibular systems and added a third-person mode to the game.
Milk is not included in the package. Link in the description. Kolobok Siknos Simulator.
And if your body isn't ready for Kolobok, then the same team released Matryoshka, a domestic horror about the hardships of working in food delivery. Another order arriving at a simple courier sends him straight to Hell's panel. You can't leave the building and the locals are far from friendly. The client can't be found, the clock is ticking, work is stalled, burnout is rising. And on top of that, a Matryoshka the size of Olovsky's heavy tank is following you step by step.
Wow, the link is under the video.
You never wanted to jump into CS 1.6 all your life, but because of reaction speed issues, you were constantly getting killed on spawn and by your own team. No worries, because Cats Wars has come out in early access, which is almost like your favorite CS, but with big bipedal katanas. And by genre, it's a turn-based tactic. You'll find the link under the video.
Wolf Tim!
Triple Auf. On April 30th, they released the second act of the two-dimensional Metroidvania Wolfolak Volia Boga was poured in with full heart. Continuation of the plot, a new character class, a bunch of new abilities for existing classes, expanded bestiaries, new gear and items. In short, the first act was humiliated along with the Dark Dora update. You still haven't bought it! Outrageous! I'm not hinting at anything, but the link is in the description.
Also, Polskovan has been released.
A game about why, in the Lovecraft universe, cats simply cannot gather in groups of more than 3. Identify the followers of the ancient gods cult among the woolly idiots while they try to sneakily summon the Black Forest goat with 1,000 kids into our world. Or outsmart the hairless, uncultured ape who doesn't understand that summoning great ancients is mandatory programming for every self-respecting cat. Because in terms of genre, we have an asymmetric multiplayer horror comedy here. The link that Dasha kindly left for you at the bottom.
Всех, кто уговаривал, раз игра в какой руке такая крутая, то почему нет игры в какой руке 2? Поздравляю, вы дошутились. Сиквел вышел аккурат на 1 мая, и после него в оригинал можно больше не играть, потому что продолжение во всем больше, лучше, масштабнее и комплекснее. Называется он Witch Hand, ну а ссылочка на Steam внизу.
And that's all I wanted to tell you today.
Все, что я хотела тебе рассказать.
Please stay healthy. See you very soon.
Уже в ближайшее время.
And take care of yourself and your psyche.